It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
Do you love the Tabernacle Choir? This year, the choir's music is everywhere you are. Listen to your favorite choir songs and music and the spoken word anytime you want on Alexa by simply enabling the skill.
Alexa, play music in the spoken word.
Now playing music in the spoken word.
You can also download the Tabernacle Choir app, subscribe to the choir on YouTube, listen on Spotify, and have access to all their wonderful music. Happy listening.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
A lot of guys in those practice squads, they don't want to be elevated to the roster. They're very happy living this life where they could tell their family and friends, which I have no problem with that. Like, there's no problem. Like, you would just assume, though, that if you're on the practice squad, you'd want to be at the top. But the reality is a lot of guys don't want the pressure of being on top.
There's Tom Brady, his theory on practice squad guys. Some people around the league pushing back on that, but hey, Brady's got his opinions. Wonder which practice squad guys disappointed him when he thought he had something. Patriots think they have something.
I couldn't disagree with him more.
You think those guys want it bad? Just looking for a chance?
I think everybody wants money.
Patriots get A.J. Brown. Long rumored trade is done. The Eagles ship Brown there in exchange for a 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick. So A.J. Brown on the move again. And the Rams with the other blockbuster deal of the day. They get Myles Garrett from Cleveland for defensive end Jared Verse and 3 future NFL draft picks, a first-round pick in 2027, second-round picks in 28, and a third-round pick in 2029.
So it was past NFL draft picks for future NFL draft picks.
Yes. Myles Garrett is a past NFL draft pick, yes.
Right.
Very well done. You want to make the Rams the favorite in the NFC?
Sure. As good as anybody else.
Yeah.
For what that matters.
Close to getting Seattle last year, upgrading a defense that was a little dicey. Longtime NFL quarterback Russell Wilson headed to TV. He's going to call it a day. The playing career is over. He'll become a studio analyst for CBS Sports on their Sunday pregame show.
I think he's going to call it a game.
And he will replace Matt Ryan, who went off to run the Atlanta Falcons. Larry Fitzgerald Sr., longtime Minnesota sports writer, has passed away at the age of 71. Hall of Fame, he's the father of Hall of Fame wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald Jr. The Giants signed Odell Beckham Jr. Should have mentioned that when they made that AJ trade. They actually went out and got 3 wide receivers there trying to... Juju Smith-Schuster has now landed in New York along with Braxton Berrios.
Go Giants, man. I am pulling hard for them this year.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Brendan Sorsby's hearing regarding his requested injunction to play this season lasted 2 hours yesterday. The judge presiding over the proceedings is expected to rule within a week on the matter. So we'll see if Sorsby has a path back to college football and Texas Tech in the next week. Mike Leach on the College Football Hall of Fame ballot for the first time this week after the rules for eligibility were tweaked this past year, allowing him to make it without a 60% win percentage.
And I'm fine with that. Just tweak it for everybody then.
DJ PK.
Hashtag NBA.
You've talked about going to Atlanta and the Battery, and they built this whole real estate development around the stadium. Awesome. And the Braves control it all, and so they control more of that game day money. People looking for, entertainment, food, whatever. Well, the Dallas Mavericks, reportedly that is their plan. They've seen what the Braves are doing, and so they are moving away from American Airlines Arena in downtown Dallas, former mall about 10 miles north, 104-acre site. They're going to buy it, redevelop the whole thing. Hotels, entertainment, food, all around the arena. And they've got 5 years left downtown, so they got 5 years to develop this site.
Yeah. It's not as conducive. Dallas doesn't get the winter that some other places have. But what allows it in Atlanta, obviously, is the summer. Dallas can be mild.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been there in snowstorms, and I've been there when it's 65, 70 in the winter. Got stuck in Dallas one New Year's Eve, 13 hours. That was a lot of fun.
Well, Dallas is a mega airport. I think I only got like half of that, so you had twice the fun. But yeah, that was
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, no, I think mine was spring or summer.
Got there and got home at 4 in the morning.
Oof.
And that was only because there was a few of us left that were flying to Salt Lake, and the plane was going to Vegas. So they said, what the heck, we'll stop at Salt Lake too.
Threw in a stop for you.
Yeah. So, I think that's, if you have the money and the land and so forth, it's a way to do it. But I think it's more conducive for baseball.
Well, I think their plan, hockey, I guess, is going to do its own thing. The Stars are looking at a new arena, but their own new arena. And these arenas tend to turn in, as we saw when we were in them, when we were in the Delta Center doing radio for years. There are all sorts of events that go through there. They use them year-round. So you're right. A Mavericks game in December, January might not end up being the ideal situation, but with concerts and shows and conventions and whatever else they can book in there, they'll use it year-round.
Yeah, but you can do that anywhere. You can go out in the middle of the desert and do that. Yeah.
About
the complex and getting the people to hang out there.
Apparently, a big part of it is, can they get Texas to legalize gambling? Because obviously the Adelson family that bought it from Cuban wants to do casinos. So we'll see where that goes.
Obviously, I had no idea. Who owns them?
The Adelson family.
Yeah, I'll be doggone.
Co-founder of Aspiration, the bankrupt company at the center of an NBA investigation into the LA Clippers, was sentenced to 14 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud. Will anything that came up in that court case lead to any penalties against the Clippers? They're going to end up getting stripped of draft picks, or how will they be penalized, if they will be penalized?
You let me know.
Longtime NBA coach Rick Adelman passes away at the age of 79, a member of the first New Orleans Jazz team in 1974-75. He played in the league for about 6 years, then went on to coach several clubs, including taking the Blazers to a pair of NBA Finals.
He's a Lion. Loyola Marymount.
LMU.
Westchester, over there by the LA airport. Was a true pro. Interviewed him many times. Always had time. Never copped an attitude. He reminds me of Jerry Sloan in that way.
Same generation.
You need to meet me before the game because there's 90 minutes of media time available every time in this arena. And I actually had interviewed him down in LA plenty of times too, and then came here. And just delightful. Just a coach who was interested in basketball, coaching his basketball team. No drama, no nonsense. I always respected him for that, man. And obviously, when people are easy to deal with from the media perspective, I'm going to have a softer heart towards them. An outstanding NBA career that extended from playing into coaching.
His son David, now the head coach of the Denver Nuggets.
And I wonder what team David's son is going to coach in about 20 years.
Stick around if you're not dead yet. Golden State Warriors star Steph Curry's hunt for a new sneaker provider has ended. He signed a 10-year deal with the Chinese sportswear company Li Ning, and he will have a full line of gear coming along with also have the opportunity to sign fellow athletes under the Curry brand banner. So
just fellow athletes, not females?
Actually, I think yes, but fellow as in also athletes, not as opposed to gender. Yes, you will have a chance to sign women's basketball stars as well as men's basketball.
Well, I was
stars.
worried about this for Curry, and I'm glad that.
Yeah, he's got something to do with time, and B, a
rest.
chance to still have a job and make some money because you're worried about him financially.
I'm just worried about him.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Fastball hit high in the air, deep left field. J.J. Bledays to the track. He looks up. It's gone. A grand slam for Lane Thomas. A big first inning swing when the Royals have needed it the most. And there's a swing and a drive out to left field. A tee shot for Marte. It's 4-1 Diamondbacks. Swung on, broken bat, looper left field. It's a base hit. Randy scores. The Mariners have done it again. The magic dust has been sprinkled here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners beat the Mets 3-2. Seattle now 3 games over 500 with the extra inning win. They win in the 10th. That is 7 straight. They got the top spot in the AL West. Only team with a winning record in the division. So, Seattle making it happen. Also in there, you heard the Diamondbacks making it happen. They beat the Dodgers 4-1, hit 3 homers in the game. Shohei Ohtani is starting to hit. He had 3 hits in the game and 10 in his last 5, but it's not enough. The Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers. Jacob deGrom tallies win number 100 in his MLB career, 37 years old. 300 wins seems like a reach these days, PK. What's the new magic number? 200, 150, 1? Or do we just not care anymore?
As far as what?
300 wins used to be special. And
It still is.
They don't let pitchers pitch as many innings. It's hard to get the win. You can't control it.
Well, I mean, you can argue that they have a better chance than ever now that they don't have to be pinch hit for in the National League.
Texas beats St. Louis 2-1 as deGrom picks up win number 100. Boston Red Sox legend David Ortiz says team owner John Henry is concerned about the direction of his last place team. Ortiz says he's worried. We had a conversation. I've known John a long time. The whole group, they're working on figuring things out to get this ride better. Sitting in last place in the AL East. Salt Lake Bees open a 6-game series against the Albuquerque Isotopes tonight at the ballpark at America First Square. First pitch set for 6:35, and coverage begins at 6:20 on 1280 The Zone. See the College Softball World Series, Texas Tech winning twice. It's a rematch. Texas and Tech again. Maybe the $1 million pitcher will pay off.
That's so last year.
I know, but they're back in the title series.
Right, but she got another $1 to stay.
I was going to say, she's got
$2 million pitcher.
And they have another pitcher who's been her compliment all season.
And they got
long.
Jason Williams' daughter.
Mia.
And she keeps getting hit and hits and gets hit and then hits again.
And gets hit again.
I was watching yesterday. It sucked me in. Oklahoma and Georgia Tech flicking around 4 o'clock. And Oklahoma's losing 7-3.
This is in the baseball regional you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, you handle the women, I'll handle the men.
Okay, well, you didn't say that, and I don't know if people were following that. But,
Well, then it had to have been. If it was Alabama, if it's Texas Tech versus Texas in the final, then if I said Oklahoma and Georgia Tech, and I have belief in the intelligence of our listeners. Mm-hmm. There is no way in hell that could have been softball because thanks for interrupting me. Yeah, gosh, I wish you would go away so I won't be interrupted. I mean, my goodness, that didn't make any sense. You said Texas and Texas Tech in the final. I bring up Oklahoma and Georgia Tech, and you tell me that our listeners did not know? I forgive you.
Thank you. I feel better now.
Because you made a hell of a sense.
A hell of a sense. I wish I'd been in that car. That would have been fun.
And so Oklahoma comes roaring back, ties it now. It's in Georgia Tech, but you know how sometimes because they go
even though it's your stadium, you might not be the home team. Right. It gets confusing,
and so
but it's true.
Oklahoma was the home team. They got a walk and a stolen base and a single, tied it up in the 9th, 7-7. And then in the bottom of the 10th, a kid comes up, Taki, and his mother's got a baseball cap that says Taki on it, right? Mm-hmm. and she's just nervous as can be. And they can spend a lot of time of her on the camera, actually. And so he leads off the inning. Boom. Over the batter's eye, which is about half the size of the Green Monster. He hits it over dead center.
Dead center, it's got to be 30 feet in the air going over that
just
thing.
Just a blast. And he's a big, chunky kid, right? And they show the mother, and she just is sobbing. And then they show probably 3 or 4 Georgia Tech players who are sobbing also on the field. So that is about as dramatic as you can get. And of course, that is when they play Monday, that's always unless there's weather.
But it's usually a winner take all.
Yeah.
They both got a loss, and so they're both feeling it.
Extremely dramatic.
Oklahoma goes on to play Kansas.
They do.
Oh, the old Big 12 rivals will square off.
They set that up right afterward, within minutes of that they will go over there and play. And Kansas had a good team and won the Big 12 this year, so away they go.
Kansas and West Virginia are the last 2 Big 12 teams left. 7 SEC schools in the 16 teams going to the Super Regionals. So put Oklahoma on that list. All right, DJ and PK.
#NHL.
Stanley Cup Final starts tonight. Game 1. Vegas and Carolina in Raleigh, North Carolina. Puck drops at 6 o'clock tonight on ABC.
Yeah, I'm going for Carolina all the way. Sorry, Vegas. Because as you know, my pronouns are he, Hurricanes.
I didn't look at Yaku. You get any feedback from Yaku? Is he?
Yeah,
okay. All right, there you go. Oh, he is. He's chuckling.
How did I guess something like this was going to come up today with you back?
Manny Malhotra is the Vancouver Canucks' new head coach. Played for the club and spent the last 2 years as head coach of their AHL affiliate. So he will also, his son is considered a top 5 pick in this year's NHL draft. Vancouver trying to rebuild, coming off a terrible year. What is trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Steve Cleveland, former BYU basketball coach, will be here at 8 o'clock. We will talk NBA Finals with him. And Steven Johnson, TCU beat writer for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, is here for the spring football tour at 9 o'clock. Question of the day is next. Stay with us.
They've been doing it for a while.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
He covers the NHL for Sportsnet. He is Luke Fox.
Now Austin Matthews is obviously very much in the news, and you've seen the Mammoth's name tied pretty closely to Matthews if he were to hit the trademark.
Utah's interest in Austin Matthews is 100% accurate. They would have to join a few other teams that would probably be raising their hand. If he does say, hey, I want out, for sure the Mammoth would be all over that. The Sharks would be over that. The Kings. There would be a number of teams that would want a player like him because they just don't become available very often, especially when they're in their prime. A couple years back, he scored 69 goals, threatened 70, which hasn't been done since the 90s. So a player like that may or may not become available, absolutely, the Mammoth are all over that. They want a superstar.
Catch Jake and Ben afternoons from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The question isn't whether the world is changing. It's whether you'll be ready for it. At Arizona State University, your education is built around the careers of the future. You learn from renowned faculty and researchers who are driving their fields forward, not just teaching about it. It's why we're ranked #1 in innovation and #2 in employability among U.S. public universities. Future-proof your career. Explore more than 350 programs at asuonline.asu.edu. That's a degree better.
Don't miss your chance to win big every week on the KSL Sports Zone. This week you can win tickets to see Brid Floyd at the Maverick Center, Saturday, June 6th. Great seats still available at Ticketmaster.com. Listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. Question of the morning. Chet Holmgren was the #2 pick. Western Conference Finals, Chet Holmgren, not good. Stunk it up. Just saying. Any concern the #2 pick in this month's draft might not be good?
I think you have to be.
Yes. Before Game 7, I think you had to be. That just reinforced that #2 picks in NBA history are all over the place.
Holmgren sucked. He was timid, weak. Took a huge hit to his rep.
Averaged 8 points and 8 boards, and there are 4 losses in that series. And the worst game was Game 7.
He didn't even want to shoot.
Nope.
Yeah, actually, number 2 picks.
Not as an illustrious a list as you'd like to think, huh?
Dylan Harper's okay. Looks like he's going to be a player.
Mm-hmm.
Sarr, we're going from most recent to...
Going back in time.
Yeah, Sarr's is still debatable. I think he was like 16-5, didn't play a whole lot of games, under 50. Brandon Miller, again, kid. Chet Holmgren. Jalen Green's already been traded. James Wiseman has been out of the league. Ja Morant is a knucklehead. I don't know how else to say it. The Jazz had to take it on the chin with his father, and that story never got its true origins, and painted us as a bunch of racists. Marvin Bagley, no. Lonzo Ball, no. Brandon Ingram, already been traded. D'Angelo Russell, traded many times. Jabari Parker, no. Out of the league. Oladipo, okay, injured. Michael Kidd Gilchrist, no. Derek Williams, no. Evan Turner, okay.
We're back to 2010 now and still looking for the dominant player.
I'll give you one here. Hasheem Thabeet, not it. He does not have the Thabeet. Michael Beasley, no. Kevin Durant, yes. LaMarcus Aldridge, yeah, I'd say okay. Marvin Williams, no. Emeka Okafor, no. Darko Milicic, no. Jay Williams, no. Now we're back to
2001 Tyson Chandler.
A good defensive player, but one-dimensional.
So the last 25 years, if you're looking for the guy to hang your hat on, to lead the team to a championship, well, the guy with the rings is Durant, and he won them with Steph Curry, who won before and after him.
Yeah, Durant got the MVPs, though.
He did.
And
LaMarcus Aldridge.
I would take a Kevin Durant caliber player.
And LaMarcus Aldridge was a really good pro.
Player. But other than that, not a whole lot.
No, and there's there's multiple injured guys in there and multiple outright busts.
Well, what's the difference? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter why. He's not, for one reason or another, he's not leading you to the title.
Right.
It may be injury, so maybe that's a little more understandable on why you missed. But the fact is you missed if you missed, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't think that Portland is getting any slack because they took Greg Oden, right?
No.
I mean, and he was injured.
Oden went number 1, yeah.
Right, but I'm saying it was
and they took
injury-related.
Sam Bowie, too, and right.
And both those guys, you can argue, we'll never know, but they were injured. And at this level, either produce or you don't. There's really no gray area.
Right. And Holmgren produced for 2 rounds, but when they ran into the Spurs, the production plummeted.
He wilted. He looked scared.
Intimidated. Go attack the hoop. If he blocks it, he blocks it. You might get the foul call. You might beat him to the hoop and dunk it.
You simply never know.
You gotta go for it. And the 4 boards, I mean, there are like 10 guys in the game who had more rebounds than you. If you can't score on him, you can't score on him. But you got to
4 boards in 7 years ago.
Get some rebounds.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
No. That's a shame.
But just because somebody missed on the number 2 pick 10 years ago and a really good player went 3 or 5 or 7 or wherever, if you got the number 2 pick, if you can identify that person correctly, you could get a win, even if a bunch of people have missed in the past.
There could be 1,000, and you could have the 1,000 in first and do it. But the point is, very few draft picks are assured.
And that is the truth.
Yeah. Now, my latest in conversations and texting and so forth is thinking that they, they're in on Peterson. He's a smooth player.
So if he falls to 2, they take him.
Yeah, I would say if he's available at 2, yes. And then I want to say that if he stays healthy, he's going to be a player. But he probably said this about a lot of these guys. And then it turns out they're not. I think immediately, he may not have the immediate impact because he'll still be a youngster. But immediately, he'll be the best shooter. That's not to say he's going to have that impact the first or second year because you have to allow him to grow a little bit.
The best shooter on the team?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not in the world.
Well, I thought best shooter.
Not with Caitlin Clark over there, no matter how much her coach wants to bench her.
Best shooter in the draft. Best shooter in the team.
I got some women's sports too, you know.
Best shooter in the league.
I'm progressive.
Cool. Good for you.
I'm a girl dad. Look
Sweet.
at me.
Sweet. Put a little name tag on it.
I think DB's a great analyst.
All right.
Yeah, I think you had to give him some time. And I don't care who it is, with rare exceptions. They have to.
Well, hence the first three on the list we were just talking about, Dylan Harper, Alex Sarr, Brandon Millen. Give them time and let them get to 25 years old and see who they are in the NBA.
As I'm watching this series that just concluded in the Western Conference, my analysis, for whatever it's worth, and if you want it to be worth nothing, that's fine. I still get the same amount of money. I think he's better than Dylan Harper. And I watched Dylan Harper play 20 times his freshman year because I knew the Jazz were going to be potentially in the mix. We talked about that, how I watched more Rutgers basketball in one season than I'll ever watch again in the rest of my life and had to at that point.
Yes.
My father was a Seton Hall guy because they're from South Orange. They're in the Oranges, and so he always gravitated towards Seton Hall. So I watched a fair amount of Seton Hall and watched a whole lot of Rutgers. Rutgers football maybe, but not basketball. And I think that Peterson, once he gets established in the league, probably not next year, Harper will probably be better. But I think once he gets established, I think Peterson can be better, which I think in my mind, is a good compliment because I'm not downgrading Dylan Harper whatsoever.
For a young guy, he just had he's having a good playoff run here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, when he is like at best, third option.
Okay, well, he's 20 years old, so I don't expect him to carry it.
Neither do I, but I'm saying, but talk to me when he's 23, 24, 25, 26. He's not going to be third option. That's a compliment at best third option, is that he's having an impact and he's down the totem pole a little bit as a rook. So I'm high on Peterson. It would not be shocking whatsoever if Washington takes Peterson. I would not be shocked at all.
No, that would not be shocking. At most, mildly surprising, and maybe not even that. I mean, there was a time he was projected as the one pick. He just didn't play enough at Kansas, and so there's question marks, so maybe he's two.
Yeah, get past
that.
But
if they get past that and answer the questions, then you're just back to what people were saying about him a year ago.
I have Kevin Young's voice ringing in my ear in the hallway of the Moda Center in Portland in March, where he's two or three of us media guys, I'm one of them, and he says, shot making is the holy grail to me. Darren Peterson makes shots. And I know Locke over there is scared or nervous about DeBonce's shot-making ability. And that's fine. It's realistic. I don't think anybody is scared or nervous about Darren Peterson's shot-making ability.
No.
It's the other stuff.
It's the availability with him. Yeah. It's the shot-making. It's the three-point shooting with DeBonce. It's the availability with Peterson. And with Boozer, it's the lack of elite NBA athleticism.
I think that DeBonce, it's beyond shot make or a three-pointer too.
Really?
Yeah. Because if he's not a threat at the line, then it's easier to pack it in.
Yes.
And if he gets the shots in that what they call the mid-range, I don't have lack of faith. It's the ability to get to that spot, how easily he got to it in college. You've never done it against a pro-level competition for 82. So that is a little bit of a doubt. That doesn't mean he can't do it by any stretch. I'm just saying that there is a little bit of a doubt until you actually do it. And I believe he can do it, but I think that because if he's a zero or a non-threat, or as you like to say, dare him to take it, then that makes the other stuff harder because the maneuverability and the real estate availability becomes much tighter. Whereas Peterson can make shots all over the floor. And he's a player, man. There's just no doubt about it. So I don't think that the Jazz are going to have a bust at 2. But, man, when you go back all the way into this century,
you'd like to think the number 2 picks had produced more.
They don't.
I know. It's like, give me more all-star games, give me more 20-point seasons, give me more 50-win seasons.
Right.
Tell me you're one of the top 2 or 3 guys on a really good team. And they're just clearly a bunch of misses.
There's more misses. It's like the Elite 11 quarterbacks.
Okay. Yeah. I
There's
see where you're going.
way more misses than actual hits on those lists.
We're doing this because Jazz fans obviously want the number 2 pick to be a guy you can say, that guy, saddle him up and ride him. And Holmgren, they couldn't saddle up and ride in the conference finals. He came and went. The games he was good. Game 5 was his best game. Okay, and they won. But he couldn't replicate it 4 times. His numbers were very different in the wins and losses. And they weren't that awesome in the wins, with the exception of Game 5. That was pretty good.
Yeah, and yet I'm sure all these other guys have had games here and there, too.
I know, right. And yet, if you look at what he did in the 2 previous playoff rounds, like for the flaws we just saw, and they were just front and center, you would take Holmgren over a bunch of these guys. That's the real red flag.
Well, yeah, but see, I don't know about that.
Really?
Because you're big on the money. Now, he's due for massive money. So would I rather take a James Wiseman and have him bust and I don't owe him anything, or take Homer and I got to pay him $50 million?
I would rather take Holman because I think the problem with someone who's a $30 million player, just to pick a number, and you pay him $50 is he'll get you a certain amount of the way, but then you're going to hit the wall. You're not going to have enough team in the second round of the playoffs, the conference final, whatever. And whereas a guy who washes out of the league or can't, you can't even ride him to the playoffs. Ride him back to the lottery and the 10th pick. And
great. I'd rather give that another shot.
Oh, okay. Well, then you turn out to be Sacramento.
If you draft poorly, if you draft Luka Doncic, then you're not Sacramento, even though you're in Sacramento. It's the teams who draft poorly, shockingly, they suck.
Yep.
Well, duh. Yeah. I mean, that's part of the reason why the Warriors are running in place and waiting for the Chinese sneaker guy to retire.
Yep.
They can spin it any way they want. They're not going anywhere.
But if they'd had a hit in the 2020 draft.
They had Wiseman and what's-his-face, the guy, Kuminga.
Yep.
And Kerr couldn't tap into Kuminga.
Didn't work.
And then they had Moses Moody. They had 3 higher picks, and they didn't score on any of them. Or the transition wouldn't have been as bad. They can argue they would still be a contender, and Klay Thompson would still be on the Warriors. But it didn't work. Even the best sometimes suck.
So the Warriors took James Wiseman. So if you put the Jazz in a similar situation, there were good players on the board, but do you have the are you able to identify them? Do you have the conviction to just say, hey, this is going to shock everyone, but I am taking Tyrese Halliburton, who went 12th in that draft. Or Avdija, the kid who was breaking out in Portland. He's
a nice player.
Yeah, he was 9th in that draft.
He's a nice player.
Tyrese Maxey was 21st in that draft.
Well, another Kentucky guy. Always go Kentucky guys if you're in doubt. I think at the second pick,
it would have been a reach to take Tyrese Maxey.
If there's one player behind you who's good, that's on you that you didn't get him.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for bungling the second pick. It's just not. That's too high.
And yet it was bungled. And
you go to the 10th pick.
Has been bungled.
You got me.
Yeah.
The Jazz took Alec Burks and Kawhi Leonard was available. That was like 12 to 15, I think, somewhere in there. But my point is, the lower you get,
the less you hold people accountable.
It becomes more understandable. But the number 2 pick, no.
Come on.
No, no, you can't do that, especially when you've waited 4 years for this golden ticket that was given to you.
Charlie and the Chocolate.
Or you earned.
Willy Wonka.
You earned through losing the right to be there. And now they're going to change the whole friggin' rules.
Yeah.
Which is an absolute joke. How do you tell Memphis you make a trade in February under one set of rules and then you change the rules in May? What the heck is that?
And they apply to you because of
and it's the Jazz who I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal because the Jazz probably aren't going to be in that spot. We'll see what Cleveland and Minnesota do.
There's a chance that Memphis could feel very cheated, but
they can't get a top 5 pick.
Right, but based on how these teams perform, we're not expecting them to get that pick and get cheated.
That's sort of beside the point. What an awful decision they made.
I know.
To change the rules after we just gifted 3 top picks to San Antonio. Now we're going to change the rules?
Well, don't forget about Oklahoma City.
I would sue.
Wasn't that the lesson of these conference finals? 2 teams that were built by tanking. Look how good they are. There's certain.
Yeah, I don't think Oklahoma City was built by tanking as much as San Antonio. I don't even think it's close.
I agree with that.
Because they got a trade with
got,
SGA.
They did.
Their best player far and away was a trade.
But nonetheless, they were tanking. And they still got players.
I don't know that they were necessarily tanking versus they weren't good enough.
Oh, they were tanking.
But I don't think they got rewarded.
They weren't good enough. They didn't. Well, like the Warriors, I mean, we may look back and say they didn't cash in enough for their tanking.
Right.
That
they won a title.
What they won with, right, but most of what they won with, they either traded or they drafted way late, not part of the tanking.
Right.
A.J. Mitchell wasn't the number 2 pick in the draft.
Nor was Jalen Williams.
Praises. Right. Holmgren was.
Right. So they got Holmgren, and now everybody's dumping on him. I don't put Oklahoma City in the same category as San Antonio at all.
But Holmgren performed really well to get them to the conference final. Now, he came up short when he sees one by Yama.
But I got 3 guys over here versus 1 guy over here.
I know.
And I got they've had 2 star centers, if you want to go Duncan to power forward, whatever, 2 star big men, and Wembanyama has a chance to be better than both of them.
Yes.
So it's not even close.
But the lesson still is, you want to get there, keep tanking.
Well, not anymore.
We'll see. We'll see if moving the bag back didn't work last time. Now they move the bag back again. Granted, while Memphis was halfway up the baseline.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, they moved it back again.
That's ridiculous.
So they moved the bag back to short right field. But we've been watching the NBA our whole life, and have always been teams tanking. Multiple teams. I think there's going to be. Now they've set it up so a team that's 6th or 7th might tank to get to 8th. We might have a playoff team tank.
Well, they're always going to be tanking, and it's the nature of the sport. I accept that, but I would have bitten the bullet and do it 3 to 5 years down the road.
Yacht suggested his grandfathering Memphis in. Like, do it right now, but that pick gets grandfathered in.
Well, there should have been multiple of those circumstances.
Right, so you can't, I'm going to make the rule for Mike Leach, but I'm not going to make it for everybody else.
Yep.
I'm going to make the rule, you gotta be a 4-year guy, and you got to be first-team All-American, unless you're Andrew Bogut.
Swing your sword, leave the pirate alone.
Well, it has nothing to do with him. It's the future guys. I'm fine with it. Do it.
Well, they did lower the overall threshold for
good. Do it, but it's better be done across the board. And you can't retire Doliak's jersey, but you can retire Andrew Bogut's? Who did more for the program? Doesn't make any sense.
Seems obvious.
Yeah. If you're going to change a rule, you don't just change it for one. You got to change it for everybody. And that's just, what a dumb thing. If I were Memphis, I would just be furious.
I think they are.
They should be. So the Jazz, I think the bottom line here is that they will get a player. And if they get Darren Peterson, they very well could get the best player when we look back 2035. Well, you guys, I'll be dead. But in 2035, when you two look back and you two, Yak will probably replace me here very soon. So you two will be doing the show.
Are you breaking news here?
No, I think the company is, not me. No, I want to be here, but they won't let me. I mean, come on.
It's just radio shtick.
We understand.
Just ignore this. Is wasted. It's wasted 30 seconds of our lives.
Saturday night at the wedding, that was another story. But I think Peterson, there's a decent chance in 2035 when we look back and those guys got 10 years in the league that Peterson could very well be the best of this draft and be a really good player.
So is the biggest problem then that teams drafting number 2 have been too wedded to all of the conversation, like conventional
I see where
thought?
you're going. Yeah, it's safe.
And they do the safe, logical thing. But the fact is the people with all this, doing all the talking and helping create this conventional thought don't have enough info and routinely do not pick the best player available.
I don't think you can have enough info because none of these kids have ever been in that situation.
So really, it's an impossible task. It sounds good picking second.
No, it's not impossible because DA knew Jason Tatum was going to be a player. And he got it right.
So the 2 is too arbitrary because in that case he traded down from 1 to 3.
It could be.
But that was just, in that particular year, it was just
circumstantial,
circumstantial, who he could trade with, who was willing to make a move, and where he knew his guy was going to fall. It could have easily been he traded from 1 to 2, and then we're talking about, well, that guy's top shelf number 2 pick over the last 25 years.
And I've never heard him talk about this because I don't think he's going to badmouth a player publicly, but he may have looked at Fultz and thought, you got to be kidding me.
I wouldn't be surprised if he thought it, and I would be very surprised if he said it.
Right.
Right. But yeah, it makes sense. He's just looking at him clearly like, I would clearly prefer player A over player B.
Right.
And I don't know why anyone else can't see that, but I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
All right?
Right.
I'll get some bonus assets, the guy I want, and I'll just keep going.
Mm-hmm. Right. Maybe he did. He clearly obviously liked Tatum, and he was right.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. More hoops with Steve Cleveland, 8 o'clock. I'm going to run that theory past PK. I mean, it is a question that a lot of college athletic directors have to face. We'll see what PK thinks. We were talking about it yesterday. We'll let PK cogitate on this. Next, stay with us.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCombe.
Look, private equity doesn't like to add costs. They like to limit costs because they have a bottom line that they have to hit. I just hate when you've got somebody who has been working in the marketing department forever or who's been a sports information director forever, and they're doing their job and they're busting their butt and they're trying to tell good stories, and those are the guys that are going to get affected.
And to me, it's just a direct response to BYU having all the money they need at their disposal, a built-in way to fund the program. There's nothing about this deal that screams win to me. I don't like the feeling of it. You know, Matt Hayes summed it up best at the end of his article. He said, this is the same Utah Athletic Department that wanted so badly to push out football coach Kyle Whittingham at the end of a 10-win season, but was willing to pay him $13.5 million over the next 2 years to do so.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.
Join Scotty G and the coach Tim LeCombe tomorrow from 10 to 2 at Mountain Supply's grand opening in Eagle Mountain, 766 East Split Rock Drive. So I was watching the college baseball and softball over the weekend. There was very little basketball and hockey. And there were multiple games on, and I got sucked into the vortex, and I couldn't help but notice the SEC was advancing at a tremendous clip in both tournaments, PK. Turns out 12 of the 16 SEC schools had teams in the baseball tournament, and now we know 7 of them have advanced to the Super Regional. And in softball, they got 12 teams in. 9 went to the Super Regional. 5 were among the 8 that went to the World Series. And they had 3 of the last 4, and now they have Texas trying to repeat against Texas Tech from the Big 12. And we know in football, the slogan for a long time was, it just means more. And we know they keep talking like they're the SEC and in charge. But over the last 3 years, in playoff games, against other Power 4 leagues, they're 2-8. Well, that's not good enough by SEC standards. And I think a lot of us believe, and I think you're in this list, well, they had some teams that were willing to pay money when it was illegal, and they won more.
Yeah.
And now other teams are paying a ton of NIL money, and the SEC's not winning as much.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball and softball, and Chris Hill told me, 25 years ago, he said, the SEC doesn't have as many teams, as many sports. They'll have 16, 18, whatever. And then you go to some of these Big Ten schools, they'll do 20, 25, a couple of them do 30.
Have 26.
Yeah, okay, Sun Devils have 26. He said the SEC has fewer teams, but They fund them, and they want to be elite, whether it's women's basketball, South Carolina, women's gymnastics, softball, baseball, you on down the line. So do you think we're going to see the SEC pull money out of sports like baseball and softball and not try to excel? Because they are literally dominating on the field. It's overwhelming. And push more money towards football?
No.
Oh, really? They're going to live with 2-8 in football? They're going to raise more money and win more games? What is their path forward here?
I think that it's about the other teams, too. I don't think that the Big Ten teams, and there are exceptions, universities are going to pour that much money into baseball. And there's not money available there. And so they've got a good thing going. The weather is more conducive, obviously. So I think they will continue to dominate because the system is going to allow that. And if you ask Ohio State, clearly, obviously, what would you rather be? Any sport versus football, and they'll take football. So they're going to continue to dump the most of their money. It's not conducive to where they are in their part of the country for them to be as successful as it is in football. So I think that they'll write it off and not care. And so they don't have to, in the SEC, put in oodles amounts of money to be successful because the other guys they're putting in even less. So it's going to be money driven. I told you, what was it?
You told me about is this the backup infielder story?
2 years ago, they were still in the Pac-12. It was the last Pac-12 media thing, I think. And I'm talking to someone, and I don't want to give out names, and he's just talking about the money situation to me, and he's not complaining. He's just telling it like it is. And sometimes, you tell it like it is, it comes off as negative because it is. It's not complaining. You're just addressing the situation.
The facts are negative, right.
And he was saying that they had a kid who was a starting infielder, and an SEC school gave him $250,000 to be a backup. And they couldn't compete with that. So he left.
I was literally thinking about that story and thinking, so does a baseball budget in SEC school get cut, and the baseball coach gets told, you're going to have to stop spending $250 on your backup infielders because we need that money to get better football players.
But I don't think $250 ain't going to cut it in football. But it can cut it in basketball. That's my point.
Right.
In basketball, not basketball, football, it can cut it in baseball. So he can go there in baseball. That's not that much money.
I get where you're going with that, but if you take a couple $250,000 players away from 4, 6, or 8 teams, I don't know, whatever, now you've scraped together another $2 million.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's going to be that many other sports are going to offer $250. Get a chance to go to College World Series, make your program a winning program, and you can actually make money on it. And so you're going to do that. People come to your games. They have great attendance. And so it's something that they don't want to just dismiss. Whereas in football, you need way more than that. And Ohio States of the world and Indiana's and Michigan's, and they're gonna just keep upping it. You don't have that kind of money to compete at the level of football. This other stuff is peanuts over here.
The Big Ten, to your point, normally doesn't do well. Now with realignment, they have 2 teams in the College World Series, in the Super Regional, because they got USC and Oregon now. I mean, they're just not historically
and
Big Ten
UCLA was
teams.
the number 1 seed and got upset.
Yes,
so,
St. Mary's.
Yeah, and they were, but that's baseball.
Who then flamed out themselves to Cal Poly.
But that's baseball.
Well, it was baseball for a long time. I mean, the Fresno States and Pepperdine's and Fullerton State. I mean, you go down a lot of schools that don't play big-time football in California, and to your point, there were a lot of players, they had the weather, and they had tournament runs and tournament finals and championships in some cases. Now, this year, and maybe your point about Little Rock and Troy have both advanced to a super regional or playing each other. But for a while there, it was all SEC and ACC. There was one year that the ACC put 4 teams in and the SEC.
Yeah, and they'll still do it. I mean, baseball has a certain level of randomness that allows it. I mean, the best teams in the big leagues lose 60 games a year, right? And
even the Dodgers can't help it.
Right, that happens. So I understand. That's what makes it. You want March Madness. The argument is that are we done with March Madness, and it's just going to be the big dogs versus over here, not necessarily. There's way more perceived upsets in baseball than there is in basketball. There would be no way a St. Mary's caliber would take down the number 1 seed. It just would never happen. And Randy Bennett did a phenomenal job, but it's never going to happen, whereas it happens in baseball.
The 1 seed's out, the 2 seed's out, a bunch of them are out.
Yeah.
There's been more random this year than there was even 3-4 years ago.
And I think that maybe is circumstantial. So I don't expect it to change. And for me personally, it seriously bugs me.
What bugs you?
Because I was a Sun Devil baseball fan way before I was a Sun Devil of anything. Way more. Because I was a pro football guy, a pro basketball guy. And when I moved to Phoenix, we didn't have any baseball, and the Sun Devils were it. I can name you every one of their guys. I went to probably 25 games a year.
And saw a lot of future Hall of Famers.
Yes.
They, having been there at the old stadium, the one on campus, they've moved now. But I was there one time for a UC Santa Barbara series, and I knew it, but it was still super impressive out in left field. They had the number name.
Yeah, they still have it. They
still do. Okay.
It's the new, it's
really
not
cool.
a new stadium, but it was Phoenix Municipal
Because
Stadium.
of when they were awesome, those were names that I knew as pros turning on World Series.
Yeah, and we talked about Bob Horner dying last week. Bob Horner was there for 3 years. Guess how many years they went to the College World Series?
1, 3.
3.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Steve Cleveland, former BYU basketball coach, former Fresno State coach. Who's he got in the final? Can the Knicks do it? We'll talk with him next. Stay with us.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.